Welcome. Welcome to
Mm.
you all. You're very, very welcome. Let's just wait and see if a few more people drop into the space. And meanwhile, I'm going to just say hello. Hi there, Nikita. Are you in India still? Yeah?
I'm in Malaysia, but yeah, still in Asia.
Fantastic. So nice to have you. And Sophie, welcome. Ida, welcome to you.
Mhm.
And I have a few more people without their camera switched on. So we'll just
My camera's not
wait.
working. Hi there. You're right.
I can hear you, but I can't see you. Welcome, love.
See if I can try and fix it.
Okay, and welcome to Sylvia and to Tammy as well. Okay, I'm going to get started, even though not everyone's here, just because I'm very want to be respectful about time. Thank you so much for carving out this space in your day for this. I don't know about where you are in the world, but right now here in Spain, it's that kind of Sunday moment where everyone goes out to have a glass of wine in the sun before lunch. So it's kind of one of those tricky times to get people to sit down and actually be present. So really thanking you wherever you are in the world for being here today. Okay, so before we start, I'm going to just invite you to take a couple of nice deep breaths and just really honor this space we're sharing and just landing here together. So take a nice deep breath, a slow breath through the nose, filling up the body, being aware of the sensations. And as you breathe out, you might like to open the mouth and just let it all go. And when I say let it all go, it's letting go of any tension, any expectation, any nervousness. Just allowing yourself to use the breath as a way of just coming more fully into this moment and into this shared space. Right. And from there, you can open your eyes again. And I just want to welcome the people who've come in during that landing practice. Welcome to Jamie as well. Hey. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the structure of what we're going to be doing in this hour today. So first of all, I'd like to introduce myself. I know many of you already know me, but just to give you a short presentation. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit more about why Breathe the Goddess. So I'm going to a little bit contextualize why I feel that this particular framework for working with the psyche, with the body, is so interesting and how it's really been beneficial for me on my path. And once I've done that, I'm going to speak to you a little bit about the structure of this series of workshops, just in case there's maybe a need to clarify a little bit more. And from there, we're going to go into a practical part. I'd really like us to have a little bit of practice together. And once we've done that, and you've just shared a little bit how that felt for you, there's going to be a moment just for a couple of questions and answers, just if you want any clarification or you have any questions. And then we'll close this space. And before I wanted to start, just to remind you also that the period of early bird has actually been extended. So until midnight tomorrow, you can still benefit from the discount if you'd like to sign up for the full 10 workshops. Okay, so let's get started. So, in case you don't know me, my full name is Harmony Peace Hannigan. That second name is something I don't always share, but I felt like showing it today. I was born in Spain. I was brought up in England. And my upbringing, I think, was probably quite different to most people's because I was brought up very much rooted in the Indian philosophy. My parents have a guru since the 70s, and they sent me to a Vedantic school in London. So I was very much brought up with a lot of the philosophy, which has been the basis in my life, throughout my life. And I studied psychology, and it was when I studied psychology that I realized that many of the answers that science was actually looking for had already been answered within the ancient philosophies, which is why I decided to deepen in my own exploration of truth through the path of Tantric yoga, a philosophy which really feels a lot more aligned to me than the specifically the Vedantic philosophy, although there's a lot of overcross. And so I combined this work through the body, because I've always loved dance and movement and touch, to actually realize how we can begin to bring together these two quite often separated aspects of ourselves in Western society, which is the mind and the body and the spirit, how we can really come into our fullness and our wholeness. So I've lived in Spain since 99, so a very long time now. And I have my own yoga school. And as things progressed, I feel that we really evolved as a community and really moved from the more denser or more physical aspects of yoga right the way through into the most subtle astral realms, which has been a beautiful journey. But my teaching has always been really in Spanish. And as I'm English, at some point there was this calling, this yearning to actually reconnect not only with the use of my mother tongue, but also to expand and to offer my experience and teachings out to the world. And I became very much involved in the breathwork community. And the reason I began to put my emphasis in the breath is because I realized how accessible it was for absolutely everyone. In the modern yoga, the image that's given quite often is that you have to have a flexible body, you have to have a certain abilities, which is actually not very aligned to how I feel or how I've approached yoga right from day one. And I realized that I needed to find a tool which people could really access no matter what their physical state was, which is why I really began to work primarily with the tool of the breath. But at the same point, I really feel that this is giving us an access route not only to the body, to the health, to a balanced state of mind, but it's also enabling us to connect with spirit, or connect with the divine through the breath. And maybe it's interesting just to remind ourselves that the word breath in so many traditions and religions is actually the same word as spirit. So it really means that when we breathe, we're not actually only doing a mechanical function and connecting with oxygen and other contents of the air that we breathe. It's actually really something beyond. We can say that the breath is the life force. We in fact call it prana shakti, which also alludes to this feminine aspect of the life force energy, which is actually sustaining us alive. So we have these two aspects. We have this aspect of the breath breathing us, of life sustaining life within this body. But we also have this amazing capacity to work with it. We can choose to breathe. We can choose to open up more. We can also choose to release. And this is where we get to co-create our reality with the breath. So this is why it's a perfect medium in order to be working with all of this expansive philosophy, which is beyond, but actually putting it into the context of something which is so utterly simple and intimate and a part of ourself, which is the breath. We all breathe, so we can all do an amazing and transformative work through our breath. Okay. And I myself are going to take a nice big breath because it's a lot of words which are coming through at the beginning of this presentation. And specifically, why the goddesses? Why do I work with the goddesses? Or why do I think that this is an interesting way of sharing the wealth of knowledge and tools when we're working with the breath? And the reason is that I find that quite often when we're working with ourselves, we don't necessarily start from the point of view that we are whole, that we are divine, and we are complete. Generally, we are quite critical when we look at ourselves and we look at what we're lacking or what's not working. which means that already when we're working with our psyche and with ourselves, maybe the vibration isn't at its highest, which means that, of course, if we're talking about some of the themes that we will be looking at together, maybe we can talk about fear, for example, just to give an example. If we're looking at our fear, we're already kind of lowering at some point our vibration and coming into a space which maybe doesn't feel so safe. But as soon as we begin to personify that, and we begin to actually recognize there is a divine symbol with a human form, which is actually demonstrating that same quality, but it's something that I can look towards as a muse, as something that is perfect and is greater than me. Maybe there's something in my subconscious which says, well, maybe this fear isn't something that is there to keep me small. Maybe fear is actually something great. Maybe fear is a doorway to something which is actually also divine. So when we see a divine personification of including not only the light qualities of ourself and our psyche, but also the dark qualities, we can actually come into a space of recognition. If the goddess also gets angry, then maybe it's okay for me also to be okay with my own anger. And also this recognition that if this is divine, then maybe I am also divine. We get to realize that these symbols are represented by the physical body, and an enlightened form of the goddess is actually a representation of our own self. And this is regardless if we are in a woman's body or a man's body. You know, it really is about the essence. And I'm not going to go into specifically that right now. I'd like to focus into this realization that quite often having an external symbol is actually enabling us to make something more real. Many of our emotions and different kind of thought patterns that we experience are quite abstract, really. So when we get to actually look at them in a more humanized way, when we get to understand that there can be symbols and personalities that represent this uncharted universe within me, then it becomes tangible. It enables us to say, oh, you know, when I'm in this really, really kind of introvert space where I really just don't feel like being with anyone, it's not that something is wrong with me. It's because the energy of Dumavati, of one of the goddesses, is with me. And when I recognize that it's the goddess which is speaking to me, and that actually that moment of not being with anyone else is actually an invitation to sit and meditate and go even deeper into the void self which is within me, it can become a sublime and very transformative and empowering practice. In the same way as maybe I feel ashamed or embarrassed in a particular situation, instead of recoiling or feeling bad about myself, I can say, this is Bala. This is the small one. This is my inner child. And I can sit with her. I can play with her. And I can really come into that space of trust and actually move through that and gain confidence and really bring that out into the world, into my dialogue, into my narrative, and actually allow that part of me to be divine. And this is really the invitation of this work. So I would say that the goddesses are not only icons without to be inspired by or to understand, but they're also friends. They're also friends to find within myself and recognize that all of them are there, but at some point, one can come to the forefront. And when I allow her to have a name, have a color, have a symbol, then I can befriend even those shadow parts of myself and learn how to dance with them. So it's a really beautiful path. It's something which has really enriched my own, not only spiritual practices, but allowed me to actually live my spirituality very much more in the world through my actions, through my habits. And this is a little bit the flavor of what I would like to share with you in these workshops. So what does this look like? What do these workshops look like? we can say that the Mahavidyas is a very complex, sophisticated, deep and long journey, which is why I've really made this a toe in the water experience. We're not going to do anything sophisticated or complicated, because I just want you to get the essence, just to really feel into a little bit the essence of each one of these goddesses. So you can begin to embody her, feel her, recognize her, play with her, and empower her qualities within you. And then if you really are interested, later on along the line, you can request or ask me about the deeper training, where we also connect with mantras and more powerful forces, let's say. So what we will be doing in these 3-hour workshops, which, by the way, you don't have to sign up to all 10. It's more coherent, it's a deeper, more complete journey if you do. But if you just want to dive into a few of them, that's also fine. In each workshop, we will be looking a little bit at the imagery. So I'll be showing an image of the goddess, so you can look at her symbols and reflect on what she moves within you in that first contact. Then we will begin to take 1 or 2 psychological aspects. There are a myriad, but we will focus in on one specific area. So for example, when we look at the Mahavidya of Tara, we're going to be really focusing on her sword of truth. We're going to be looking at this quality of what truthfulness is, not only looking at maybe the untruth in the world around us, but also reconnecting with beyond this self, the lies that we tell ourselves, to actually connect with our deeper inner truth, as well as the ultimate truth of the universe. So we'll be looking at that, and then we move on to what is essentially a very practical part of these experiences, these immersive experiences, where we will be using the body, we'll be visualizing, we'll be bringing in the energy of the goddess, we'll be going to be moving to feel her energy through our body. So this may be just using movement like Tandava exercises with certain mudras, or there might be some shaking, or there might be certain postures that we're going to be exploring. And then we're going to bring this into our breathwork practice. So this is a guided breathwork practice with a very specific music. There's a playlist for each one of the goddesses, where we'll be lying down and doing a conscious connected breathwork, bringing in the energy of each of the specific goddesses. And then there will be a space to integrate. And as we will be creating a beautiful supportive container, between one session and the other, there's a 3-week space between each session. You can share what that's bringing up for you. You can continue journaling around the theme, and we will be there to support you between sessions as well. So that's a little bit about the structure of this particular series of workshops. And I'm very excited to be able to share this with you. And just really open up this rainbow of spectrum of colors and emotions and frequencies that the Mahavidyas offer. And yeah, and so I would really encourage you to ask me any questions at the end that you may have. And if there's not enough time for the questions, all of them today, just have another look through the PDF, because I've tried to put as many answers to typical questions there, or you can reach out for a call with me or send me a message and I'll get back to you. We start next Saturday, so you have a week to get ready, and I will be sharing a little bit more information beforehand about the themes that we're going to be working on. The first Mahavidya that we're going to be working with is Kali. She is a very powerful energy, and she is also the one that we have to meet in order to move forward, in the same way as that we need to step through the door, muster up this motivation, determination, and courage in order to step through that door, which is essentially stepping inwards towards ourself. So yeah, that's a little bit the overall presentation that I wanted to share with you. And once again, just to remind you, if you do sign up for the full 10 sessions, you'll receive a discount. So I will, at the end of the session, I'll put the payment link straight into the chat box, just so you can sign up immediately after the session if that feels good for you. Okay, so I'm going to take another deep breath. And we're going to take a little bit of a shift now as we move into a bit of practice. And yeah, because I'd like you to actually receive something also from this. You've been very generous. You've given me the space to share and to speak. And I'd like to share a practice and allow you to really feel a little bit of the energy and that you have something to go away with as well. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to describe a little bit of practice that we're going to do. I encourage you to have a little bit of space around you so that you can stand up, and we're going to be using the arms. We're going to be breathing a little bit more deeply. So that will be interesting just to have a chair, but when we sit down, and also space to move your arms around. Okay, so what we're going to be doing here is I'm first going to invite you to have a little bit of a connection. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I'm going to invite you, if that feels good, to write your answers, just a couple of words, into the chat box. If you're not accustomed to using the chat box, if you look at the bottom of your screen, if you're on a computer, you will see there's a place where you can chat and you can type something in. So at some point, I'm going to ask you to share a couple of words in there. And once we've done that, which is a little bit defining the work for yourself today, we're going to do an embodied practice. And in that, first of all, we're going to activate our body, and we're going to be doing maybe some shaking, some dancing, some movement. It's really enabling you to enliven your body space. And after that, we're going to drop into complete stillness. So it would be interesting if it's comfortable for you to keep standing up for that. So it's like a guided still practice. The body is totally still. But of course, if you need to sit back down with your feet on the ground, then please do so. And from there, we're going to bring in some energy into the body, a very specific energy. And for that, I would also invite you to stand up. The feet are going to be slightly separated so that you can have a nice grounded position for this. And we're going to be doing some movement with the arms most specifically. And I'm just going to briefly show you what that's going to look like. So when we actually get into it, you don't have to be looking into the screen. We're going to be doing like a figure of 8. Yeah, and we're going to be combining this movement with the conscious connected breath. It's going to be for about 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, so we're going to be breathing in, expanding, and breathing out. Okay, I'm going to explain to you in the first guided practice what the significance of this is. So it's all going to become very clear. And then once we finish, we're just going to settle down. You maybe want to sit, and we're just going to really allow that to settle into the body before we share and close the space. Okay, so it's simple, 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 fun, fun, fun. So if you're feeling ready, let's get started. So before you stand up, I'm just going to invite you to find a comfortable position with your feet on the ground. And if it's good for you, you can close your eyes and just really come into this inner space. And for the purpose of this practice, just release everything that you've been listening to. So you can just come back to stillness and spaciousness. And I'd like you to really connect with yourself so you can recognize, what's happening for you? What's alive for you at the moment? What's been going on for you in your personal life? And you can also maybe just inquire into what your calling is. Why are you here? What are you looking for? And as you ask this question to yourself, what am I looking for? What do I need? Or what do I want to call in? Just be very attentive as you listen into this silent whisper from your innermost self. So that maybe just one word can emerge from that question. One word as an answer, which maybe just bubbles up from your inner depths. And just register that word, because I'm going to invite you afterwards to write it down. That one word which represents your call. And the next question that's going to come in here is, what is standing in your way? What do you perceive as standing in your way or limiting you? What is holding you back from really realizing and embodying that which you seek? What is stopping you? And once again, just allow a word, or maybe it's a phrase, just to be articulated within yourself. And once you've obtained this information, just take a deeper breath. Maybe you want to come back into the space, stretching out the body or giving yourself a shake. And then when you feel ready to open the eyes again, just come forward and just jot into the chat box those two things. So the first question was, what is your calling? What do you want? What do you need? What's bringing you here? Or how do you think the goddesses could help you? And the second word or phrase is going to just articulate what's holding you back, or what you think is kind of standing in the way between what you want and where you are at. And if you don't feel like sharing into the chat box today, and you prefer to just jot it down on a piece of paper for yourself, that's also okay. But when we share, we also get to recognize where everyone else is at, and we co-create a much more intimate space together. And we also get to, just kind of realize that we're all on the path, no matter where we are. Sometimes the words the other person expresses where you were, and you can feel compassionate towards that as well. Okay, so feeling called to find guidance, connection, healing myself and others, service, standing in the way is a scattered mind. Yeah, love. Immaturity, recognizing immaturity. Recognizing fear as what's holding you back. Search for freedom. This is all beautiful, beautiful material. It feels like raw material that we get to work with. Right? Okay, so that's a great start. And as we begin to articulate that, you might even feel something happening in your body. There's already this opportunity arising for moving and shifting some of this energy and bringing something in today. So what we're going to be doing is, I've already explained just the steps, so I'll just refresh your memory. The first piece of music that I'm going to put on is for us to really have a good shake and a dance. And for this, I'm going to invite you to recall your younger self. So this might be your teenage self or your inner child. So you can really get to have a little fun as you move, yeah? And you can forget about being in a group context if that makes you feel embarrassed, and just kind of enjoy moving your body. And at the same time, I really want you to feel every single part of your body. So if you feel like shaking out your foot, so you can really feel the energy in the foot, then go for it. And I'm not going to be looking at the screen, and just allow yourself to enjoy this moment. You might hear me speaking through the music. You can pay attention to what I say or not, as you wish. And then as we finish this, it's just for a few minutes, we're going to drop into stillness and I'll guide you from there. Okay. So find a comfortable standing position. You should hear the music at a good volume. Okay. Take some nice deep breaths as you begin to move the body. Breathe generously. Use all the space around you. Bring in some joy and excitement. Releasing all tension in the body. Finding your rhythm. It doesn't matter what it looks like. You can even use your voice if you want to. Feeling all sensations. Releasing what's holding you back and reconnecting with your playful self. And gradually slowing it down, slowly coming back and finding a still position. It could be standing. Taking some nice deep breaths. You might like to breathe out through the mouth. And just be very present within the body. So that you can feel everything. From the physical sensations to the presence of the heart, the breath, right the way through to the subtle sensations like the vibration. Feeling into a quality of aliveness, and presence. And as you connect with the spaciousness that you've created within the body, I'd just like you to realize how important it is to create space. To empty yourself before inviting something new to come in. That everything begins with nothing. And if you look inside your body, maybe you can recognize that it's about spaciousness. In the same way that the child is conceived within the spaciousness of the womb, so too is everything held within the spaciousness of the cells. In the same way that the planets are held within the spaciousness of the cosmos. So as you embrace this emptiness, this spaciousness within, I'm going to ask you to remind yourself of what you are calling in today. Calling it in, calling in this vibration from the cosmic forces, the Mahavidyas, bringing this into the body. Holding on to that vibration, you can prepare yourself for the movement with the breath. So you're in a standing stance, the knees slightly bent so that you can have that stability, and you're going to find your rhythm as you breathe through the mouth. Let's start this together. Breathing in, lifting the arms up, breathing out, crossing over. This movement of the arms is like a noose or a lasso, a rope, which is allowing you to, in this spaciousness, draw in what you need today. Find your rhythm. In and out. Allowing the movement to ripple through your spine. Allow the hips to move. Breathing in and out through the mouth, deepening the breath. Expanding and energizing. Visualizing these ropes in your hands being expanded out to all corners of the universe, allowing you to bring in that wisdom, that confidence, that clarity and focus of mind, whatever you've chosen to call in today. A little bit more. And breathe in, lifting your arms very slowly up. Holding the breath if it feels comfortable for you. And then slowly bring the hands ever slowly down. And just dropping into stillness, connecting with your innermost self. Feeling the energy of the Devi, of the goddess, within each cell of your body. I invite you to make your way to any comfortable sitting position so we can just drop into silence together. Allowing ourselves just to embrace the fullness of this present moment. And as we do so, we can just really give gratitude for being here in the lap of the Divine Mother herself. Where there is nothing to do, there is just the invitation of being fully. And that beingness is nowhere specifically. It's a beingness in everywhere, in every dimension. In every moment in time. Although it would be nice just to sit even longer in this space together. I'm going to invite you just to bring in a recognition again about the physicality of your body, this divine body, feeling into the floor beneath your feet, maybe the chair under your seat, sensation of the contact of the clothes on the skin, the sweetness of the breath, the natural spontaneous breath. The steady beat of your heart. And from there you can expand your listening to help you reconnect with the space outside of the physical body. Just remembering that you are in a shared space with other divine beings. So I'd like you to imagine yourself sitting in a big circle with the people who are present and also with the people who wanted to be present and couldn't be present today. And you can imagine us extending our hands so that you are holding the hands of the people on either side of you, just creating an enormous circle of divine beings sitting on the earth. And in the center of this circle is a fire which is burning bright. And this fire is not only ignited by our own energy field, our own desire. It's also that transformative energy which is helping us to evolve, transform, purify, illuminate. And we can just feel on the front side of our body that warmth, that light, that recognition. And that stepping into fullness right here and right now. So you can consciously deepen your breath and feel that in your heart space. And when you feel ready, I'm going to invite you just to drop that image and just very slowly come back with all of your senses into this cyberspace that we share. And just take a moment if you want, if you need to look around you just to reconnect. And I would like you to maybe share in the chat box just a word or two about how you feel now, what's shifted for you in that simple practice. And if you already know the goddesses, who do you think we were breathing with? I'm looking at Ione now. Okay. So I'm going to just let your words flow into the space in the chat box. You might like to drink some water if all that breathing through the mouth has made you thirsty. Peace. Calm, still, and connected. Lovely. Yay. Tripura Sundari. Remembrance and hope. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, I'd also like to open the space for you in case you have any questions or petitions, specifically surrounding the workshops that we are going to be starting next week. I have put all of the themes in the PDF document, so you can see which goddess or which theme we'll be working with for each of the goddesses. So have a look at that. Feel into what feels more powerful for you at the moment. I would at the same time say, regardless of if you decide not to do all of them, I would say go for the first one, because Kali is the central goddess for the Mahavidyas. So we could say that she is present in all of the others somehow. So she is the initiator. She is the one who we can say really is interesting that we receive that initiation and that initial contact with her as we move forward. And I will talk a little bit more about that as we go along the path. Okay. Oh, that's beautiful. Love that message, Ione. Thank you. I feel the same way. Yeah. Yeah, what Ione's sharing in the chat box about that she actually felt that she was holding my hand. This is the power of using the imagination and the visualization. Quite often as we get older, we kind of discard that as child's play, but it is actually the way that we embody. A child is playing because this is the way to actually manifest abstract ideas and actually be able to make them real. And this is something which is a very simple but direct tool that somehow, quite often as we get to our adult years, we kind of leave that to one side and we become very intellectual. And we try and think through things and create lists and things like that. But if we actually use the power of visualization, the body responds and we begin to actually feel the reality of what we are creating in our minds within our bodies. So this is a vital tool that we will be using in one of our practices, we use the self-transfiguration, where we actually not only visualize or see the image outside of the body, but we actually embody it as if we were putting on that what do we say? The words coming to me in Spanish, that dressing up outfit. Yeah. So in order to actually become that character, until we realize, oh, it's actually me. It always was. I just forgot about her. Yeah. Okay. I'm talking again. Does anyone want to ask a question or share anything about anything that we've that's come up during this session or this practice? Feel free to raise your hand or just directly open your mic. Go for it. Ayodhya.
I have one question. I've got my phone on because my camera's not working on my computer. So can you hear me?
Yeah, we've got some echo, but we can hear you.
Okay. I just wanted to, it was delightful to practice with the goddess again. I've done the full course of the Mahavidyas, and I can't remember, it was like a couple of years ago. And just to feel their presence again was delightful, and I'm excited about doing it again. But I wanted to have one question. Was one of the things when I did the whole course was the sadhana in between, and how helpful that was to my practice and to feeling good. I just wondered, will we be getting a sadhana in between the in between each course?
Okay. So my answer to you is not the same as my answer to everyone else. Okay.
Yeah.
So as this is a more of like just an introductory practice, I'm not specifically taking into consideration people who are yoga practitioners or people who've done a lot more work around the goddesses. Then you will be encouraged to stay aligned with that specific goddess during the month. You'll be encouraged to do some journaling and to continue with the breath practice. But if you want to supplement that and you want to use the framework of these Breathe the Goddess series in order to reconnect with the work that you have done before, I would say you can go. You've got the access to the old sadhanas that we've done with the vinyasas for each goddess and everything, and you can add as much in there as you want to supplement.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Or just if you feel like sharing and speaking into the space? Maybe you can share something that you felt or you liked about this presentation. And while you're thinking about sharing, oh, Nakita's got her mic open.
I just wanted to say thank you for the breathing with the movement and the opening and the wings. And I've done a lot of conscious connected breath, but I haven't done that one. And yeah, it was a really beautiful practice. And I really enjoyed it. And I could see myself just getting carried away with that. So I'm probably gonna take that one and continue with it. So thank you for that. And yeah, thank you for your teachings. I'm really excited to get started on Saturday. So yeah, just grateful.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited about getting started and also about having you on the path, because I would definitely say you are one of those inspirations for getting me to actually get this ball in motion and actually get it out there. So that's, yeah, I'm feeling very excited about this.
Thank you for doing it in
Nakita.
English. The timing
Yeah.
is just
Great. Yeah, I'm really excited about finding my words in English and yeah, just transferring this to a new space. Thank you. Jamie.
Yeah, so yeah, thank you so much, Harmony, for giving this presentation. And I really enjoyed this moment of stillness and connection. I'm also really excited about this. I've had some experience and practice with deities and so on. I've never actually studied the Mahavidyas as such, and I'm really excited about it. And I think was it Nakita just said about the timing of this. For me, this is also great timing that you're doing this in English, because it's something that I've been sort of curious about for a while. And you're making it a very accessible course. And I think for me, the timing is really great for me as well. So the fact that you're doing it in English is excellent. And yeah, I'm really excited about this. I'm definitely going to sign up for this Saturday, this weekend coming. Yeah.
Great. And I'm going to be actually next weekend. They're going to be transmitting it from the space in Arena, so I'm not going to be very far away from you.
Yeah, right. So it'll come across more powerful then.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. I'm really excited about having you on board, Jamie. It's an honor to share this with you. And yeah, talking about it being accessible, yeah, the actual full training, and Ione will know because she did it, is like 10 months of intense sadhana with a lot of reading material, a lot of commitment. And I'm really aware of the fact that we're living in a moment where, although people may be interested in that, they can find it difficult to carve time out because of work, because of family, because of other things. And I was like, well, I don't want to just kind of like exclude those people from actually getting a flavor of this and being inspired by it. So let's make it like as simple, accessible as possible, and then we'll just see what happens. If everyone's just kind of wanting more, or we'll just take it from there, which is nice. I like there to be an organic expansion of the teachings where there's a genuine desire for learning, because then that is the perfect field for things to actually just happen, really. So yeah, it's exciting. Yeah. Great. Any other? I'm wary of the time. We've just crossed the hour mark, but if there's any more questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you before we lovingly close the space. And just while I'm seeing if anyone wants to say anything, I'm going to just pop into the chat box just the information on the pricing, just so you can have it at an easy glance. And I'll also be sending out a little email after this session. So here goes the links as well. And yes, if there's no more questions, that's probably a good sign, right? It means that everything is crystal clear. Sophie.
Yes, hi Harmony. I just wanted to say a big thank you for, it was an incredible session, as always. And also that I was able to share it with my friend Tammy today as well. So I thought that was really special. So I hope that both of us can continue with you. I'll speak to her tomorrow at work and see what she says. But I did actually have a question as well, because obviously for me in Hong Kong, the timings are more challenging because it's like a Saturday evening. And you mentioned that there would be recordings. Are they going to be recordings? Is it similar to the AOB course whereby there's like is there any breakout rooms or sharing amongst the group? Or is it more your teachings? I'm just trying to imagine the how it would look like
the dynamic.
yeah.
Okay, so basically, I'm just going to describe a little bit the breakdown of one of those sessions. There's going to be around 40 minutes at the beginning where we're going to be unpacking a little bit more around the theme. If there is a big group, I might put people into a breakout room to discuss a theme. But if it's a small enough group where everyone can speak into the space, then there won't be need for breakout rooms. I understand that for you it's tricky time. I really look for a time where internationally, because I know there's someone in the States who also wants to join, try to look for the best possible time for everyone. And I know it's difficult. In fact, the woman in the States is going to be getting up at 4 a.m. in order to do this course. So yeah, it's tricky. But what I can say is you will I don't really like people relying on recordings unless there's a genuine reason for that, because I think being in the space is much better. But in your case, understanding that it's a tricky time, of course, you can have the recordings, and also you get to have an integration with me, which means that if you haven't been there in real time, we get to have a little chat, like after the session, the week after. Just if you have any questions, just so you can feel that you're not outside of the group. So for me, that's really important. You feel part of the group. So for example, if it was you and Tammy, we would jump online for half an hour or whatever together, and we would just kind of see what had come up for you so you feel supported. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Can I have a little wave? Can I see where Tammy, because I can't see her, get to come and wave. Is she there? Okay, I'll send a little wave to Tammy. Okay, great. Thank you so much for coming. Let's have a few breaths just to close the space, because it's yeah, the time is up for today. So I'm going to invite you just to come a little bit closer to your screens, so you can lean forward and just kind of have a little smile at the people that we can see. Some people have their screens off, and just really acknowledge the presence, this human presence of these beautiful divine beings which are on screen today. And we're going to take just 2 or 3 nice deep conscious breaths together, just sharing the breath together. So as you do that, you might want to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. So this breath which comes out is really given into this shared space. And the breath passes through the heart space. So there's really this loving and honoring and desiring of the very, very best for each member of this group. Really drawing in the divine as we breathe in, and sharing it out amongst us with generosity, and also with that receptiveness to give and receive. Great. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next Saturday. And any questions, just get in touch. You can see Ida now as well. Take care. Bye for now.